Hello, this is Mrs. Sturgeon here to talk about point slope form and how to graph a line in point slope form. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So for this first example, we're just going to go ahead and graph based on the information that they gave us. So at this point, we should, sorry, zoomed in on the wrong one. We should hopefully understand the fact that m represents the slope, and then it says through 6, 2. Okay, what that means is they're giving you a specific point on the graph that they want the line to go through. So we're going to go ahead and plot that point first. So let's go ahead and count over 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, comma 2. That's this point right here. So now I know if I plot that point that my line is going to go through that point, which is exactly what the directions asked us to do. So from here, I need to count my slope starting from this point I just plotted. So my slope is a positive 4, which means I need to go, remember 4, positive 4 without a fraction, that's like 4 over 1, which means I need to go up 4 units, because it's positive, up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the right 1 unit, and my next point to connect the dots is right here. Okay, so my line that goes through 6, 2, so that's this point right here, with a slope of 4, looks like this. Not the most straight, but that's okay. All right, now, if I give you an equation that's in point slope form, the graphing is exactly what I just showed you, but you have to find your own point and you have to find your own slope. So let's talk about what that would look like. So point slope form looks like this. We write it y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So that's like the generic formula for it, where m still represents slope, and then x1 and y1 are going to represent the point that we'll use. So again, x1, y1, those represent the point. So our point in this generic form would be x1, comma y1. Okay, noticing that even though these are minus signs, both x1 and y1, as I wrote them here, are positive. And then slope is given still by that m. All right, so slope is just m. So again, once you have the point and the slope identified, all you need to do is plot the point on the coordinate plane first and then count the slope from that point. So let's talk about, if I give you an equation, how to identify the slope and how to identify the point from the equation using the numbers that they give you. Okay, so let's start with the m. So noticing in my generic formula, the m is placed in front of the parentheses. So when I'm identifying the slope, I need to remember it's the number that's in front of the parentheses. So in our case, for this first example, that's 3. Now the point, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because there is something that you have to remember. So when you're identifying the point, again, we know that one of the numbers is inside the parentheses, this x1 up here, and then the other number is y1, which is on the left side of the equal sign. So the x coordinate for the point is always going to be close to where the x is in the equation. So for example, you see that we have x minus 2. That means that 2 is what's going to be giving us our x value for our point. Okay, and our y value for the point is over by where the y is located. Okay, so over here, right? Now, here's the thing. Here's the catch, we'll say. Even though this is a minus sign you're seeing, the point we are identifying is actually a positive 2. Okay, because in the general form of point slope form, there is a minus sign already there. So essentially, if you see a minus sign, the point is positive. If you see a plus sign, the point's going to be negative, and we'll talk about that in the next example. So for this example, you notice they're both minus signs, which means the x and the y coordinate are both positive. Okay, so y minus 4, that means I have a positive 4 as the point. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next example. So for this one, My slope, again, is the number in front of the parentheses, so that's going to be negative 1 over 2. And then my point, thinking about what I told you earlier, they have to have opposite signs. My point, the x-coordinate says plus 4. I know it should be negative 4 because I need the opposite sign. Then, next to the y, we have a minus 1. That means my point is going to be a positive 1. And let's talk about how to put this on the graph. Tie it all together. Okay, so let's identify first the slope. So the slope is the number that's in front of the parentheses. So in our example, my slope in front of the parentheses is a positive 3. So that's what I'm going to write for slope. Then my point, the x-coordinate, is inside the parentheses with the x. Change the sign. So if it's minus, it becomes positive. So that's positive 2. And then the y-coordinate comes from where the y is located. That's a positive or a plus 4. So that means my point is going to be negative 4. Okay, so again, remember to change those signs. So what I need to do is plot the point to negative 4. So go to negative 4, plot a dot. Okay, that's 2, negative 4. From there, count my slope. So I'm going to go up 3 units over 1. Because remember, if the slope is a whole number like this, we assume it automatically has a denominator of 1. So I'll be going right 1, and that's how you count your slope. I can add more dots with the same pattern if I like, and that's how we graph in point slope.